I was always astonished at how in movies they used to show us that doctors had the superpower to bring humans back to life. And that is what inspired me to become a doctor. And that is what ignited the fire in me, and I reached here at AIIMS Rishikesh in my first attempt at the UG AIIMS exam. Hello, I am Dr. Deepika Mehta. I am a Marrow Plan C user, and Marrow was my primary source of preparation. I gave the INI-CET November 2022. It was my first attempt, and I got a rank of 71. I was brought up in school from Jalandhar in Punjab, and from there I reached here at AIIMS Rishikesh, and this is where I did MBBS from. My experience here at AIIMS Rishikesh has been excellent. The faculty and my fellow students have all been very encouraging, and they've always inspired us to work hard and smart to get what we want. In my first year, I was not very into studies. I loved anatomy and I worked very hard in the DH. And all of us, we used to together dissect and learn. That was, I think, a kindle that made my interest go towards studies. And from second year onwards, I started studying a little bit more, but I was not among the toppers at all. The COVID lockdown was the time when I really got to know myself better and when I really started studying nicely, properly, on schedule. And so in third year and final year, I got into studies. I liked studying, and as fuel and fire went together, I really got good ranks in my third and final year. And then in my internship, I continued studying and I reached here. In first year, we had dedicated textbooks to study, and so was the case in second year. But third year came and I realized that the textbooks that each professor mentioned was a different one. And so I realized that Marrow was the best for me because of the convenience that they offered to study at your place, the subject that you want, and at the time frame that you want. And also because of the content. The teachers share it with so much of zeal and enthusiasm that it looks like that the subject will inculcate into you at that particular time point only when you are studying it. We hardly had to go through the videos again because the teachers, the content, the way of teaching, the app interface, everything was so brilliant that one-time interaction and watching the video felt like talking to the teacher, and it was good enough to stay in my head for a long time. So I bought Marrow in the third year of my MBBS, and in the beginning few months I was not really sure of how to go about it. In the first few months, what I would really do is just see the video that the lecture in the next day would be. And sometimes it was the other way around. First the lecture would happen and then I would see the video. This went for about a few months, and after that the COVID lockdown happened. And in the lockdown, I realized that this is not how I would be using Marrow, just to see the videos that the lecture I am being taught in class. I took Marrow more seriously, and I thought that I need to put in more efforts to get the most out of it. So I made a plan that I would do the third year and final year videos from the Marrow in the lockdown itself. But since I was the eldest in the family, and the eldest always has the pressure of taking care of the parents, and I was going to become a doctor soon, and it was a health scare, so it was not really possible for me to do all of the third year and final year videos. And after we came back from the lockdown, we had our exams, but in final year what happened was that the postings were restricted mainly to the lecture theatres, and they took more time because in wards when you learn very quickly, so it was very time investing. And we had back-to-back exams from terminals to professionals, so I did not get so much of time, and I was able to do very few of the final year videos in my final year itself. And then internship started, and I made a plan that I would be doing my first year, second year and fourth year videos, all of them in the first 4 to 6 months as quickly as possible so that I get on track. So since I was already late in taking Marrow because I had taken it in third year, and I had very little in the beginning. When I had set up my plan, I was thinking that I would do all the third year and fourth year in the 2-3 months that I will have. So I thought that it will not be possible for me to write all the notes and see the videos. So I bought the Marrow notes and I saw the videos. What I would do is I would play the video at 2x speed for others, for subjects that I could write at 2x, and I would write accordingly and I would stop. But for a few subjects like medicine and radiology, I would play them at 1.5 to 1.8x speed and then write along with the videos. I really did not have to see any of the videos the second time, because the first time when I saw it, although it took me a lot of time for the first time to see it, because I jotted down almost every important point that the teachers would tell in my notes, but the advantage of this was that I did not have to see the videos again, because I had everything that mattered in my notes and I had to read them again. See, I really believe that instead of doing so many things, you should be doing a few things again and again, because that's how it sticks to your memory. And you really need to have notes. The printed notes or your handwritten notes, it does not matter, but you really need to have notes, because until and unless you see from the notes and see them again and again, it won't stick in your memory. In the beginning, I thought that first I will finish all of my videos and then I would do the Qbank. But then I saw a lot of videos of the top rankers from Marrow and other and other coachings. All of them recommended doing Qbanks and questions from reliable sources regularly. So after a few months only, I started doing question banks every day, and gradually as I did more questions, I realized the importance of doing them every day. It does not matter if you do 10 modules or 20 modules. What is more important is that you don't leave a single day without doing a question bank. Preparing during my internship was not an easy task. I had to toil a lot, especially during the busy postings like medicine and surgery. But I made it a point that I would study for at least 2 hours daily. Even if it was not a dedicated time, 2 hours in the ward, 2 hours, while sitting in the OPD, I would just solve the Qbanks whenever and wherever I could. It was a point that I made that I would not let any day go without solving question banks, even if it happened that I'm not able to get enough time to do my videos and the content. I made it a point that I would solve at least 5 Qbank modules every day, and that is doable. You're in the OPD, the patients are taking a little bit of more time. You can always solve a few questions from the modules anywhere. You can do it while waiting for the radiologist to check in, while in the wards, while the teachers are busy taking rounds. It is possible. It is really possible to solve at least Qbanks in the wards. The Marrowthon practice is a very good practice to inculcate the habit of solving Qbanks daily. Sometimes everybody has phases when you feel like, no, I can't do it, I should stop it, I would do it the next time. So Marrowthon comes in at that point, because every day if you are able to do so much, like 5 modules daily or 10 modules daily, because you know that everybody across all over India, if people are doing it, then why can't I? So Marrowthon is a very good motivator to make you solve questions, and that helps a lot, because everybody has weak points. Sometimes you feel like, today I'm sick, today someone from my family is sick, something keeps happening on in life, and it is very habitual for us to lose our hope, to lose that spark to continue the exam strategy. So Marrowthon was very important for me, and I did it whenever I could. While doing your preparation, if at all it feels like you don't have so much time, because everybody's track is different, everybody's timing is different, and everybody's life is different. So it happens that sometimes you have very little time, and at that time it's important that you don't lose track of yourself, because thinking that I have only this much time and I won't be able to do it is a very bad thing to even think. So just if you have little time, you still can do the most important of the questions, and it has been made easy by the schema topics. There's a different list of questions that are regularly asked, topics that are asked very often in the NEET PG as well as in the INI-CET exams. You can always first do the theory part from the notes, from the videos, and then come back to those most important parts for doing the questions. As I was doing my internship and I had little time to dedicate entirely to my studies, so I would be in the ward or in the OPD a lot of times when I was preparing. So at that time, I would just take my phone or my iPad and just see what are the most important topics that they've mentioned in the schema, and I would solve the questions of those topics. Sometimes it would even be those topics that I've not read, but I would just solve those questions, because it's very important to know what is usually asked, so that when you are preparing, later on, you would know what is most important to be studied. So it is very important to solve those schema modules, and it was a wonderful option in Marrow that I liked. Like question banks, I believe that GTs were also to be taken once you're through with your video part and content part. But as I kept watching YouTube videos of all the top rankers, especially from Marrow, on how to use all the features effectively, and I think I gathered that GTs was an important aspect of the preparation. I started giving GTs early on in my preparation. In the beginning, I thought that first I'd be done with my content and then I would start the GTs, but this is a blunder. Don't ever do that. In the early phase, I started giving a GT every Sunday, and in the early phases, I gave GTs of the recall questions only. Marrow has specific recall papers in their previous year grand test section, and I would review them on the same day, because it is very important that you don't keep a lot of gap between the time when you give a GT and the time you review it, because the questions stick in your head for some time, and the closer the time interval is between your doing the GT and reviewing it, the lesser time it would take, and it tends to stick in your head for a long time. In the beginning, I had very bad results and I was very disheartened by the rank that I got, but gradually, even without having studied everything, my rank started to improve, because I started to get to know how to give the questions in a particular time frame, how to solve the questions in a particular time frame. And I made sure that while giving my GTs, I finished all of my questions within 2.5 to 2 hours 40 minutes. Because in the end, while doing the exam, one, there's a lot of pressure. Two, there is always something that the examiner, the invigilator, has to do. Sometimes to answer, sign the roll number sheet, to put a thumbprint. There's always something that has to be done. So always keep in head to spare 20-25 minutes while you're preparing. Try to finish your GT 20-25 minutes early on. When I gave my GT, before even I would review my GT, I would first see what is my weak subject and what is my strong subject, and that really helped me, because almost every time in the beginning few GTs, my weaker subjects would be biochemistry, pharmacology, microbiology, and forensic medicine. These four remained my weak subjects for consistently for a very long period of time, until I realized that if this keeps happening, my rank will slip a lot, just because I did not stress on these points. The graph analytics that the GT has to offer with respect to the top rankers, it's brilliant. You must always use it, and always see what subject you're lacking, because they give you a good graph at the end. You would very nicely know what subject is your strong point and what subject is your weak point. Pick up your weak points and then work on those subjects. In the national mock test that happened a few weeks earlier on, before the exam, my rank was somewhere close to a few hundreds. So I think that motivated me, that if I can improve from 10,000 to 100 to a few hundreds in 4 to 6 months of time, I can improve and I can do better eventually. So after I had done my videos, I still had about 5 months before the exam for my revision. So I made it a point that I would finish with my first revision in the first 3 months. So I started with first year subjects because they were my weakest, and I realized giving more GTs and INI-CET recall papers that first and second year are very, very important in INI-CET. So my actually revision strategy was 3-pronged. First was the questions that I did. Second was the notes, of course. And third was images. I realized that a lot of questions in INI-CET especially were image and sometimes even video based. And I had heard that the images that the final exam has to offer, they are of very poor quality, of poor resolution. You're not able to read anything from them. So until and unless you've seen that photo before, it's very hard for you to decipher what the photo really is on the day of the exam. Plus, the exam pressure also stands on your head. So this is how my revision started. First, I started with the first and second year subjects, and it took me really long. It took me almost 4 to 5 days to study even anatomy for the first time. And then in the first 2 months, I was done with my first and second year and half of my third year subjects. And now I had 1 month left and I had to do half of my third year subjects plus all the fourth year subjects. So I decided that I would first do obstetrics and gynecology, because the numbers of questions asked from OBG are a lot and they are doable. If you've read Sakshi ma'am's notes, and if I've solved a few questions, those questions don't go out. So I did first obs gynae, and then in the final 5 to 6 days I did surgery. And medicine, I mainly focused on ECG and ABG and the emergency part. I spent the next 1.5 months revising what I had already done. And for the second revision, I did different colored pens. Like I would use a purple pen, a pink highlighter, or an orange highlighter for things that are most important. And then I made sure that the yellow highlighter that we commonly use is for the things that I would see if at all I get time to revise just a few days before the exams. So for the last 4 to 5 days, I took off from my internship, because I knew that the last days are the most important in your preparation, because this is the time when you revise. This is where you put everything that you've done in the past, even 4 years, into practice, into your purpose. So I took those days off, and I devoted all of my time in the last 4 to 5 days for my studies. I revised what I had folded and I had marked with the yellow pen, and I made sure that I did not do anything new in those last 4 to 5 days. I just stuck with those things that I thought I will do, and I did only those things. And in the last 12 hours that I had before the exams, my exam was in the evening shift. So on the day of the exam, I did not study anything, but the last day, on like 12th of November, I had a list of topics with me that I thought that I would do in the last day, which included developmental milestones, the most volatile of topics, IPCs, developmental milestones, the cancer staging, things that are commonly asked and things that you tend to forget. This list should be of your own, because everybody has a different list set of topics that they tend to forget. So make a list while you're preparing, while you're revising. Make a small list, and it's important to manage, to know how you would spend the penultimate time before your exam. My favorite faculty at Marrow is Dr. Rakesh sir, and I really find medicine so interesting because of the real life experiences that sir keeps telling us in his videos, that how sometimes he learned from his colleagues, and how he learned from how his friends got sick, and how he how he investigated a particular patient and how it turned out to be. That has, even for my entire preparation, that has kept me going, and it was very awe-inspiring for me to learn from sir. There's not really one favorite feature from Marrow that I have. Marrow has a lot of great options, and there 2-3 are my favorite. I would like to mention all of them. The first is the subject-wise arrangement of the previous year questions. I found that very helpful, because towards the end, when I was revising my subjects, after the revision of one subject, I really went back to the previous year questions and made sure that none of the previous year questions went wrong. So that really helped me. The second is the search option, to search for the pearls using any keyword, using any just the name of a topic. That really helped me while reviewing my GTs, while solving question banks at a later date. And bookmark has always been one of my favorite feature at Marrow. It's a really great practice, but I think it takes some time for you to learn how to bookmark effectively. And for that, solving question banks and GTs on a daily basis and early on in your preparation is a golden strategy. I had planned meticulously for the day of my exam. I'd planned everything from what I would wear to how many hours of sleep would I get, everything. But the day of the exam was exact opposite. I actually had fever on the day of the exam, and it was bad. I was very disheartened, and I felt like I would not be able to give my 100%. But then I decided that I can't change it. What has happened, and it's not in my control. So I decided that I would give my 100% while I am here, and when I go back, I should not have any amount of energy left. And with that confidence, I went in. And while giving the exam, I think I forgot everything about how I felt like. And while giving the exam, it almost felt like I'm giving a mock test, a GT. The questions were very similar. Some were short one-liner type questions, and some were the long questions. And the exam experience was pretty similar to giving a GT. I managed to see all the questions. I managed to do a lot of questions. I attempted around somewhere close to 195, 196 questions. I could not see really how many have I attempted, because the timer went off while I was just revising all the questions that I've left. Since my preparation days, I was always planning what I would do after my exam is done. and I had thought that I would get a sense of relief. I would keep sleeping, I would eat this, I would eat that, but nothing I was able to do of that sort, because till that time, when from the exam date till the result date, it was all an anxious state of mind that the result is going to come and we'll see what happens. Would I have to study again? What did I do? How did I perform? How many questions did I get right? And then I saw some of the recall videos, and I saw that I had a good amount of questions right, but I was still worried about how the result would go. So on the day of the result, we were all waiting. It was not till lunch that the result was out. So I got a call from one of my classmates that the result is out. I still waited for about 5 minutes to open the iPad, and then I saw the result. And when I saw a 2-digit rank written in front of my name, I did not believe it. I typed my roll number all over again, and then I saw it. Then I sent it to all of my friends, and then they checked it, and then it was final that this is my rank. I really did not believe it. We went through it 2-3 times. I myself checked it 4-5 times. Even after telling it to my parents, I kept checking on it again and again, because I did not want to be disheartened after the result was out that this is not my real rank. And when I told my parents that this is my rank, they were over cloud 9. They were so happy. And my sister, she was very happy, and she's here with me. So she told all of her friends, and everybody started calling, and it was really nice. But I really was in a dreamlike state on the day of the result. I really could not believe all of that happened, and I still am not able to digest everything, that this is how I prepared, and this is how the exam went, and this is how the result is even out, and I'm here. It all feels like a dream come true. My hobbies are swimming, playing basketball, and badminton. Although I did not get enough time during my internship to do all of these, but whenever I did find time, I enjoyed doing these. My favorite pastime in Rishikesh would be to spend time near the Ram Jhula and Lakshman Jhula with my friends. The calm would just take me away from the chaos in my life at internship, managing the internship and studies, and it would really help me start my studies again with more kindle and fire. That was how I managed my stress during my preparation time. I also have a keen interest in cars. I love to know and read more about the luxury cars, and my favorite ones are the Audi Q series and the Maybach series. My mother is a housewife and my father is a police officer. I have 2 siblings. The youngest one is my brother. He's studying in 11th grade. My sister is also with me here in second year at MBBS in AIIMS Rishikesh. And at first, when I got to know that she is going to come here, I was not very happy, because it's not really a good idea for 2 siblings to be at the same place. But gradually, I think it was very good for our bond. Our bond as sisters became stronger, and we got close to each other, and we got to know more things about each other that we, I think, in the 20 years did not know about each other. So for so long a time we have been together, and we did not know many things about the other person. So I think it helped us a lot.
Hello everyone, my name is Simran Mehta and I'm a second year MBBS student at AIIMS Rishikesh. So today I'm very proud that my sister, she's gotten Air 71 in INI-CET exams, and it's a proud moment for all of us. After my 10th exams in +1 and +2, I chose with the medical stream, and it's basically because I had quite a keen interest in science by then, and moreover she was already, by 10, when I was in 10, she was already into this college. So she used to keep me telling those stories, especially about, since the first year is anatomy, so she used to tell me about all the things they did in DH. So that was quite a turning point, and that actually helped me build my interest in the subject. So this is how I basically chose medical for this +1 and +2. And then when I we had a counseling and I got into this college. More than me, my parents were happy since I got into this college, because already my sister was here, so they thought that it'd be a great support and both of them will be together. And more importantly, they won't have to travel much. They won't have to travel, come to the same place. Initially, I didn't feel anything at that point that she'll be there or not. At that time, I didn't think of it as any more importance. But when I came here, she's been a biggest support ever. We were together in school as well, but you don't realize that thing in school as much as you do in college, because in college, since you're away from home, so she was the only one here whom I knew, and unlike my other friends, they were lonely at times and used to cry missing their parents. Lucky to me, it never did happen to me, because she was always there. I knew she was always there, and I never realized she was that important to me unless I came here. No, it's after I came here that I have actually started respecting her, that I didn't do before, because she was already achieving. I realized after coming here that what is she capable of, what she has been doing, and how good she is, especially to me. And I turned her, contacts name into mommy recently, because she's been acting like a mom since the day I came here. She's like very caring. Earlier, we used to fight a lot actually. Most of the times we were fighting, and it was just not verbal fighting. We even used to hit her. She used to hit me, and we used to hit her. It was nothing in between. And there was only like very small topics, so the very trivial ones that you won't even consider, but that's the sibling things, no? So it used to happen a lot, and I never really did like her that, especially in the school days. But it's all, the love and the bonding. It's actually been recently, and especially because of the college.
Growing up, I thought that she's very mean, but gradually I realized how caring and nice she can be at times. But one bad habit that I have is I'm very particular about few things like cleanliness, and she sometimes purposefully does exact opposite of what I ask her to in terms of cleanliness or other, sorting things just to annoy me, and that has been a trivial point of us to start fights. So that is something that I really remember, and pretty much it's been good to have spent around 3.5 years in her company at this college, and she spent more than that, 2 years. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Prachi. I'm from Haridwar
And hi, I'm Chetna and I'm from Jaipur.
and we are studying in AIIMS Rishikesh. 3 of us met in counseling.
Yeah, during medical,
during
medical,
Medical exam.
while we were having admission process was going on, we were having medical. So
That's when we got acquainted to each other.
yeah.
And then after that, when we moved into the hostel,
So we were like, we knew each other from before. So
Yeah.
we were like, we
It was-
talked to each other in the common area and stuff. So it developed eventually like that.
yeah. And then we would go to the mess together. We'd spend
Yeah.
time together in each other's room and share each other's stories initially.
Yeah.
And then we'd do group studies. Like she used to make me remember all the muscles in anatomy.
Yeah. She was like hardcore anatomist back then, and we were in the same group in DH. So
Because
we
our
used
names
to-
are close to C and D, so
Yeah.
our roll numbers were together. So
Yeah.
So we used to do dissection together, and we used to find out nerves and stuff like that.
and we were so happy when we found out something together. It was the best joy at that time.
Yeah.
Most of the time when she was preparing for when all of us were preparing, and she was like, we couldn't find her. We knew if we had to find her, she would be in the library. And yes, when she met her in the hostel, then we used to catch up on all our talks, because we know that we're all busy, and that's how we're going to get time.
We
to
had
talk to each other.
we had different postings. Like one had night duty, other had morning duty. So our schedule was very scattered that way. But still, if we wanted to find Deepika, we were like, okay, she must be in the library only studying. So if you want to contact her, then go to the library.
But somehow I think in internship we kind of grew. Like we were
Right.
children till our final year, and internship made us into adults.
Yeah.
I think it really changed us.
Yeah,
But
it did.
it just changed. It didn't break.
Break.
Yeah, we didn't grow apart. That's
It
one thing I'm
matured.
grateful
It matured.
Yeah, because now we know what other responsibilities are, how to balance work and life as a good.
Yeah. I was going somewhere. I was on the way. Someone called me up and said that result aa gaya. Check out the result. Then on the group, on our college WhatsApp group, they were like, Deepika has got this rank and someone has got this rank. So I called her up and congratulated
Like we
her.
were so happy
Like-
that all her
Yes.
labor bore fruit, and we were
Hard
like
work
really
bore
happy.
Yes.
And I think in the future we see each other as being the best friends.
Yeah,
Even
we'll
later.
keep talking, keep updating, because हमारे दिन नहीं खत्म होता एक दूसरे से कुछ share kiya maina.
Yeah. My advice to my juniors would be, don't believe that somebody is born with it. That rankers are different people who do things in a different way, who have been studying all their life. It's not like that. Everybody can do it just with consistency. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Be consistent. Make a good plan. Follow that plan, and success will be yours. And to my sister, I would like to tell her that you don't have to really do everything that I did. Take it easy. I don't want to be a burden on you, and you should not take me as well. Take me like that as well. So take things easy. Enjoy life as it comes. Study for a few hours daily if you really want to, and do what your heart says and not what your sister did. Enjoy life, because it's more than just studying, it's more than just career. My parents, my family, and all of my friends, they've supported me a lot throughout my preparation, especially my parents and my sister. They've all helped me so much. I can't thank them enough. My mother was sick while I was preparing, but she did not let me know because, as she put it, she did not want me to have another tension in my life. So she did not tell me anything about it. And I really want to thank all of them for being my constant support, for checking on me every time I felt low. And it would not have been possible without their persistent support. I would like to dedicate my success to my parents. It's just because of their sheer support and belief in me that I've been able to do this.